Our next speaker, we're going to talk, inshallah, about the value-based pricing. We have Dr. Yacine Sellam, and Dr. Yacine has earned his PharmD and his PhD in pharmaceutical sciences. In addition, he's an assistant professor at the Algiers University. And in addition, Dr. Yacine is the president of the Algeria Society for Regulatory Affairs and Pharmacoeconomics. So please welcome me, Dr. Yacine, to present his talk about value-based pricing.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. So it's a real pleasure for me to be among you today during this masterclass. So I would like to thank the organizing committee for their invitation. And as said before, so as part of this third session related to pharmaceutical pricing techniques, I would like to talk today about what we call value-based pricing, and I will go through important concepts and applications of this tool, as well as the challenging facing payers or governments aiming to implement this pricing tool. So, as an introduction, the broad concept of value-based pricing is referring, especially in other sectors than healthcare, to a pricing strategy applying a higher price than the cost plus one by taking into consideration the perceived value by the customer. And for the customer, the value is mainly defined by the willingness to pay for a unique product. I mean here a product differentiated by its characteristics compared to existing other products or services already on the market. Definitely, this concept could not be directly transferred into healthcare, whereas we have witnessed a gradual introduction of this terminology of value-based. When we talk about the healthcare system, we are talking about value-based healthcare. Sometimes the term is used to refer to the outcome-based payment models. And in other situations, we are talking about properly said value-based pricing. So here, the difference in the health policy or in the health sector is that we are not referring to a perceived value. And in addition, the customer is not directly paying for the medication, as most of the time the charges, the costs are taken in charge by the payers. And there is a need here to demonstrate, to provide an evidence of the value brought by any new technology. This is why the value-based pricing should be understood here as being a linkage between payment and an evidence-based assessment of value for patients, their relatives, or society, depending on the perspective. One example of what we can call a value-based price is what we are witnessing in Germany when it comes to negotiate a price for innovative medicine authorized on the market. So you have to know that the prices are free during the first year, which means that they are set by the manufacturers, but during the 12 coming months, the benefit is assessed by mainly by the Federal Joint Committee, and a benefit decision is taken. If the opinion is negative here, so a product is assigned a reference price, whereas in the opposite situations, I mean a positive, an evidence of an added value here. So the manufacturers and payers are entering in negotiation to determine a price that reflects the value this technology is bringing, and the price based on the value is applicable since the start of the second year. Now, how could we define the value-based pricing? So broadly, we can start from the quote of Warren Buffett, who says that the price is what we pay and the value is what we get. So there is a broad concept here of value for money. But in terms of definition, VPP could be defined as the price that will ensure that the expected health benefits any new technology brings is or will exceed the health predicted to be displaced elsewhere in the national health system because of its additional cost. So here there is a need to perform what we call a cost effectiveness analysis to determine whether a new technology is cost effective or not by reference to a predefined cost effectiveness threshold. The second definition given to BPP is as being a price negotiation based on the value that a new technology offers to the society. So here the society or societal perspective is taken into consideration, and the value is assessed through what we call health technology assessment. Whereas for approaches that could be followed and used towards achieving value-based pricing, so there are here 5 main questions to ask. The first one is what is identified as being of value? And here there is a need for a consensus on the perspective from which the value is assessed, regardless the approach that will be used. The second question will be how is each element measured or described, and then who and how is each valued. And here we have to notice that the metrics by which all aspects of value taken into consideration are measured needs to be defined as a prior step to their valuation. And the next coming question, the fourth one, is how is the value aggregated? We can here aggregate value as a net benefit, I mean in financial units, or using a multi-criteria decision analysis, using a weighted quality, I mean a quality adjusted life years, or referring to deliberative processes. And here, the main difference between the approaches to value aggregation is the numeration, the numerator, how we associate a number to the value assessed. And the last question, of course, is how the value is linked to the price. And we have here to determine the rules to how extent we can offer premium price for new technologies for which the added therapeutic value is proven, and what are the prices threshold. When we talk about added therapeutic value, so we have to be clear here and understand it as being the incremental therapeutic value that will be brought by the new technology compared to the best available alternatives already approved or funded. And we have here to distinguish 2 types of countries, those using formal pharmacoeconomic assessment to inform their decisions related to funding, I mean to pricing or reimbursement, which is the example of Austria, Denmark, Belgium, Canada, as well as Sweden and UK, and other countries using a formal assessment for the added therapeutic value, like Germany, France, Italy, Spain, or Japan. And here it's often, I mean, the added therapeutic value is often expressed in levels or by categories. So here I'm presenting the type of rating or categories established according to different countries. So definitely for those using economic valuation, the assessment is performed upon the number of quality gained. And there is a need for those new technology to demonstrate that they are cost effective. And in case the economic evaluation is conducted on ex-ante basis, so the price proposal of the manufacturer is admitted or not according to this number of quality gained, of course, with respect to the cost effectiveness threshold in place in this situation. In other countries like Belgium, there are three categories, 3 classes for determining the value, the importance of the added therapeutic value. and those belonging to class 1 are entitled to negotiate a price which is above the comparator price. In France, for example, we have 5 categories going from ISMR, which means added medical services value 1, which is considered major, to 5, which is considered as being technology without any improvement compared to existing alternatives. And in France, medicines having an ISMR from 1 to 3 are entitled to a price premium, which will be determined by the manufacturer, and using other tools like external price referencing. Whereas for those belonging to ISMR 4, it could be possible where the market alternatives are limited. For Germany, as I said before, there is a value-based pricing system in place, and you have to know here that there are 6 categories taken into consideration to rate the added therapeutic values, and medicines with some additional benefit are not clustered in reference price groups, and there is a possibility to access. For example, in Italy, there are 3 levels. In Netherlands, 2 levels, Annex 1A and 1B. And for those belonging to Annex 1B, there is a possibility here to secure, for the manufacturers to secure a price premium after providing the evidence on pharmacoeconomics and budget impact that are required there in Netherlands. In Spain, whereas there are no formal assessment or classification, a price premium of 10 up to 20% could be offered to drugs bringing an important added therapeutic value after comparing the price with existing alternatives. Besides that, we have also to know that the majority of innovative medicines have different indications. And the problematic is the following: when the value or the added value here for each indication could be different. I mean, if for given indication here, the added value is high, we can think to fix the price, a single price according to this higher valued indication. But the risk here is that for other lower value uses or indication, the price will be higher than optimal. And in those situations, the payers will decide to restrict the access. In the opposite situation, I mean, if a single price is fixed based on the lower value indication, there is a risk to discourage the future R&D efforts for further potentially higher value indications. And the average, if I can say, solution here is to adopt a price for each indication, which by the side could be bringing greater complexity and cost for all stakeholders, in addition to the fact that the expected budget impact could be higher because of the larger eligible patients in this situation. At this stage of the presentation, we have to clarify an important point. Sometimes when we talk about value-based pricing, we are not only referring to evidence-based price, I mean those based on expected value at the end of an HTA process, and another type of what is in the literature sometimes confused with VPB, which is an outcomes-based reimbursement. I mean all innovative contracts or agreements taken after the marketing of the products realized value in the real world. And there are this one, I mean, evidence-based price. The pricing is set on ex-ante basis, and its indication level related, as I presented on the previous slide. And differentiation could be made through different price between the brands, and we can consider weighted price between different brands. Whereas for the outcomes-based reimbursement, which is here based on the realized value, so it's determined when we go or retrospectively after a certain period of time. It's mainly patient level or population level, and those are the question and the points to be considered. In addition to the fact that the different tools we have here is to use discounts, to condition payment by results, and other different typology of agreements. When we talk here about value-based pricing agreement, I mean outcome-based ones, as I said, we are linking the payment for any given medicine to the value achieved in the real world rather than the expected one. And in situation where value metrics is not achieved, the reward will be here lowered according to the